Hello and welcome to your number one source for unlabored reason. Here we will explore issues of societal craziness that cannot be explained by rational thought. So get ready for a rough ride. In this day and age, political correctness is a very common phrase. You hear it all the time in the media, usually from opponents of it. This talk we are about to have is coming from one such opponent. So without further ado, let's get into this train wreck of societal cancer. So if you have never heard of political correctness, it is basically the modifying of one's speech, behavior, or product so as to not potentially offend someone. Sorry, straight white dude, you don't count. You might say, hey, that's a good thing, right? It's good not to try to offend people, make them mad. See, it sounds good on paper, but when it's put into action and abused, well, you get some really stupid as hell situations. One recent example of political correctness run amok is the controversy that came out of thin air. In 2013, it all of a sudden became offensive to some thin-skinned SJW types that the NFL team, the Washington Redskins, were called the Washington Redskins. The team has used the name since 1932, and it just became an issue out of thin air. Here's a clip demonstrating what I'm talking about. Just judge for yourself.
Political correctness gone too far. In a rare move, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office canceling the Washington Redskins trademark registration. They say the name is offensive to Native Americans. But, Carrie, you think this is a bad precedent for all businesses.
Well, David, I do think this is hugely disruptive to their business model and their trademark, and I think there is legal precedent that this could be overturned. That being said, I am no Elizabeth Warren, and so I didn't use this to get a professorship at Harvard, but I actually do have Native American ancestry. And I do think from a cultural free market pressure here, that from a PR move, they should probably move on. I think it is a passé term. I think it's a term that is similar to the term of colored for African Americans during eras past, and so I think it might be time for them to move on.
I don't want some government bureaucrat deciding what I can say, how I can deal with my own property, because there are property issues involved here.
What is the logical end? Are we, as Jenna Goldberg said at National Review, are we going to start getting rid of all of the cities in the Southwest that are sort of based on Christian names because atheists don't like them? You know, I was from Los Angeles. What's going to happen there?
Steve, again, the question is whether or not this could be used as a precedent if they win in the courts to do something else willy-nilly in a politically correct fashion.
Making the situation worse, the media piled on the bandwagon to condemn the team as being racist, ignorant, bigoted, and whatever other insults to show their displeasure that this team is not being very politically correct. Despite all the pushback, the team's owner Dan Snyder will not back down despite all the pressure. Which in my opinion he is right to do. Because once you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They'll expect the next thing that offends them to be immediately stricken down and done away with till there's nothing left except boring, politically correct nonsense. Snyder has the support of many in his effort to fight the PC police, but none more powerful than the actual Native Americans themselves, who largely don't give a damn and were not offended at all by this idiocy.
A new Washington Post poll found that 90% of Native Americans are not offended by the Washington Redskins nickname, and an overwhelming majority consider it an unimportant issue. Redskins owner Dan Snyder has maintained that he won't change the team name, which once again became a prominent issue after the 2012 season.
Now, some of you listening might be thinking to yourself, well, I bet this guy would be okay with blackface. Well, I would respond to you, actually, it depends on how it's used. Now, what I mean by that is blackface, for those of you who don't know, was used heavily in the stage productions called minstrel shows back in the early 1900s. Basically, actors would, paint themselves and dress up and act buffoonish in an attempt to mock black people, make fun of black people, and it was, if you go back and look at some of that footage, it's pretty cringy. Nobody with common sense would do that these days. It would be heavily frowned upon, obviously. That's not to say that certain actors and actresses and a certain former president, who will not be named, thought that was a good idea. But hey, most of you who are listening to this probably have some common sense and would know that's not a good thing to do. Now, where I think it would be acceptable would be in satire. Like something like Mad TV would have done something like that, Saturday Night Live. Or, you know, you probably won't see it because of our PC climate. But if they were to do it in that way, like making fun of a minstrel show or something, then I think that would be in good humor. That's not to say that Hollywood hasn't done something the exact opposite, you know, in recent memory. And nobody batted an eye when that happened. Those who want to push the PC agenda use one strategy to do so. They make a big deal about something that was not a big deal previously. Then they keep at it, hoping it gains support with the peasants. That's us, everybody. We're the peasants. Do you remember when illegal aliens were called illegal aliens and everyone knew and accepted what that was? Now you aren't supposed to say that. You are supposed to say undocumented immigrant or displaced migrant or who knows what it is now. I don't keep up with the latest PC buzzwords. Politicians, celebrities, and other high-profile people trip all over themselves to be the most PC of all. There are countless incidents of political correctness out of control, but none as high-profile as the Redskins fiasco. You can be sure that it won't stop anytime soon. When you try to censor others or yourself in an effort to possibly not offend someone, it cuts right into the ability to express oneself. If you have to constantly monitor yourself to make sure you are being PC, it can have a direct impact on your ability to put out the best possible product, performance, or effort possible. We are supposed to be in the land of the free, but some would like us to be in the home of the chained. Chained to the oppressive post of political correctness, where everything is gray, boring, unfunny, and not entertaining. All in an effort to hopefully not offend someone, except for you, white guy. Here is a thought. Instead of people working on being easily offended, maybe people should get thicker skin and stop being such wussies. I, for one, will not bow to political correctness, and neither should you. I hope you found this video entertaining. If you like what you heard here today, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If there is any constructive criticism you'd like to share in the comments below, please let me know. All the feedback I can get to make my videos better would be greatly appreciated. This is Unlabored Reason. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.